Hello and welcome everybody, welcome to the stream. We're just setting up, but if you're just tuning in, welcome. If you're just tuning in, welcome. It's going to be a nice, relaxed Saturday evening stream. I appreciate the mic is very, very quiet. Just give me a moment. I'll boost up the volume. There probably won't be much talk in this stream. It is a Saturday evening after all. Yeah, so we left off last time, having built a few of the guns, as we can see on here. And these go up on here. We will putty these. I haven't got around to it yet. We'll do that probably this stream. I might do it now, but I want to wait until everything's primed and painted and ready before we try and do this. I'm just going to turn up the gain a little bit more. There, that should be it. I don't want too much though, just in case, you know, the sound gets a little bit muddled, starts picking up the computer fans, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is where we're at currently with the ship. It's actually back to front. I appreciate it's been a very long time, but due to the heatwave and illness, I unfortunately haven't been able to stream as much as I wanted to. But here we go. This is what we're looking at. And we're going to move this out of the way, I believe. Or are we? If I remember correctly, we got to the point last episode where we'd got to part 10. And the point of this one was to create all these tiny little bits. There should be 4. I may have lost some since E14. I think E14 we need to do. These are photo etched parts, so we need to try and. Oh, no, they're not. So yeah, we'll start and continue with these. I know we made 2 of these, and we made hopefully 2 of those. Although they're photo etched parts, so probably not. I know we have 4 of these though. They're over here. We've got this one, so we can make E41, which is not going to have anything to glue it to. In fact, we'll cut that out now. So let's find the E sprue. This is the D. And here we have the E. Now we can actually see we have 13 and 14 and 15 here, so that's the next step. But what we're focusing on right now is E41, which is this little bit here. So we'll just cut this bit out. But if you're just tuning in, welcome to the stream. It's great to have you along on this Saturday evening. If you've checked out our previous streams, thank you for coming back. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. We build warships. That's literally all we do. Build warships and listen to some lo-fi music. No matter if you've had a long day at work this week, or you just want to chillax on a Saturday evening. Maybe you're also building a model. Then welcome. Just give me one moment. I just realised I haven't actually set up the stream properly. I don't actually know how to get it with settings and that kind of stuff, so we're just going to leave that for now. But yes, we should leave it for now. I'm actually going to move this out the way slightly. Just because it's a little bit of my workspace. Right, we need another E41 with the other E-screen, which is this one, and E41 is here again. Basically, we're going to just repeat this process. These nippers are really, really good at just getting those really tight, you know, nice areas that are quite hard to cut off. You know, we can use a scalpel, absolutely, and that's exactly what we're doing, just to get off any excess. But they do leave quite a straight edge. Again, you can check out one of my videos where I actually unbox these. Yeah, now we're using them. Yeah, they are honestly fantastic. To do. So now we've got the E14, 13 and 14 again to build what looks like an additional rocket launcher. I'm not sure I understand the steps on this one. Before we cut them out, let's check the instructions. So we have 2 that go together, and then 2 to get. Oh, I see. So we're actually making 4, but we have 2 sets to make. Okay, we can get that done. Well, it says that, but we actually only have one E13. I'm rather confused. I'm very confused. I think one goes underneath once it's already built. How we're supposed to glue that, I don't know. Yeah, it's supposed to be a 4-stack, but it's supposed to go under. Okay, I think I have a way of getting around this that we might have to do, rather than building it as per the instructions. Is 15 supposed to go underneath? No, 16 is supposed to go underneath. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I think the second one's going to end up better. We'll try it with the instructions, and if that doesn't work, then we'll try it my way. Around here somewhere. There they are. This is where it's going to get quite fiddly, because we really need to ensure that all the additional access here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this on the camera. It's a good camera, but even there's ever so slightly not quite perfect cut. So I'm just going to gently scrape off a little bit like that. Perfect, and then we can go on the other side and do the same thing. What we're trying to do is just use the flat of the blade to kind of guide the cut, not guiding off or not cutting off too much. So that's 16. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 16. We're actually going to put this here for now. There's already a pretty clean cut, I think only a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Now, I know what you're thinking, why don't you just sand it? You're right, I could sand it. I don't want to do too much sanding, to be honest. I end up taking off too much material. Oh, perfect, and this was 14. Is this 15? Yeah, this one's 15. Perfect. I also find that when I'm sanding, because I end up taking too much off, I end up like damaging the texture and the detail. Perfect. This was 15. And we've got the last one of the rockets. Don't forget we have to make quite a few of these. We'll do the other side. We'll put that at 13. Now we also have the actual holder for this. For those of you just tuning in, obviously welcome to the stream. Oh, I have a warning on my stream. 1 second. just give me one moment, please. There, all happy. Again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the stream. Right, shall we continue? Sorry, it's warning me that I'm not using a bitrate that it was expecting. I'm using about 8,000 instead of 15,000. Unfortunately, if you've watched my previous video, the last video released regarding the Super Duper warship, you'll see that actually we have had a motherboard failure. So the one we're currently using is a much older one, and is actually using an old processor dug out of the bottom of the drawer. It's not very good. So running streams on it is proven to be a little bit tough. Hence why we have not really been doing much either recently in terms of videos. I ended up having to render it on an MSI core, which was quite a fun one. We're just going to use a 3600 here. I don't want to take off too much material, but I do need to smooth it out. No, I think we're going to need a bit harder. 4,000. I think we use 1,500, I think. Oh, that's very good. I like that. That's very smooth. And we don't want to take off this detail because it does actually have it's quite a detailed part. Okay, that'll do. That's perfect. So, I don't think we're going to be able to get this one to move, but it is possible. So, I will certainly do my best. I don't know how I'm going to do this. We're actually going to have to use both set of tweezers here. Sorry if you see the back of my hair here. We just need actually I can use the part here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to try my absolute best this here. This might be a little bit even out of my limited stretch of abilities here. On top of that, I don't really have the steadiest of fingers. I think we've actually done it I don't want to get too excited until it's dried, but I think we may have done it. If we have, that would be fantastic. Now I know you can't quite see on the camera. I will hold it up for you once it's dried. We'll just leave that to dry a second. So effectively what I've done is there's two parts. There's one at the bottom and then there's one at the top, and there's a small like gap in between that this hooks onto, like the main bracket hooks onto. So what I've done is I've managed to try and get it so that it only goes in the gap. If that makes sense, you just glue the two parts together, which means I've used very minimal glue, which is why I've got to be really, really careful about it drying properly before I try and move it. I was using this as the hope to like try and lift it up, but I actually have the stability to do it, so we're just going to let that dry for a minute. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the stream. It's great to have you here. And I'm just going to let that dry for a minute. So I feel like that should have dried. I'm going to try and pick it up very, very gently and just have a look. Again, I don't want to mess around with it too much. It has dried actually, and it's dried very, very well. It has. So I don't know if you can see here on the camera. Oh, 1 second, I'll get my OBS. So you can see it here. See? And you know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but you were holding it. Step is to put E15 on top of that. I think the best way of doing this is actually going to be using the tweezers. We've also got to get E16 on. I want to cross that bridge once I need it. Let's do this one first. I use the tweezers to hold it. Slide it all the way up if I can, like so. And we have E15 here. Yeah, there's not really, doesn't really matter which way we put this, I don't think. So we're just going to add a tiny, tiny, tiny dab of glue. Very, very small. Just going to gently place this on top. Unfortunately, this is paramount that we get this aligned.
Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
I think that is it perfectly lined up. Once again, we're going to let that dry. Perfect. She was just chilling this way. So this bit's drying, and we're just waiting for that to dry because we then need to somehow manage to slide this under, and this is where making it be able to move is, I think, it's going to help us quite a lot. But we will, of course, have a look and see. So I'm just trying to get the music back up and running. Yeah, music back up and running. That should be dry enough. What we're going to do is we're going to tilt.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle function.
Smooth down with glue. Again, very, very smooth down. Again, it's paramount that this is also in line. Actually having a few issues with this one. There's like a small bump on it, which then stops it from actually sitting flush. Yeah, I don't think this is supposed to be a movable part, so it's now all fallen apart. It's quite upsetting, because I was really looking forward to having that be able to move. The problem is, and I'll show it when we build the next one, is that this part has like a little lump on it to try and stop it, to like make sure that things at the right angle. Which I do kind of appreciate, to be honest, but I would also want it to be moving. Yeah, now it doesn't look too fantastic because we've now got the double glue and the bottom part's still not quite sitting flush. It's not perfect at all. It's also not a very good fit. Yeah, no, I'm quite upset with that one. It's very, very lopsided. It's diagonally stacked instead of horizontally. Yeah, I'm not happy with this piece. Should have just stuck with what the instructions said, to be honest. But even then, I don't think the instructions were very accurate. If you can see that. You know? It's alright. It's alright. A blind man would be pleased to see it. I'm never going to do that again. This time I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to do it in a different order. And that's going to be with E16. And then we're going to do E14. And we're going to do them together. And we're gonna let them dry, because I don't think they were necessarily fully dry. Maybe. Perfect on the first one. Cool, and the second one, we're going to do it for the other part as well. Again, what we're doing is we're trying to smooth out these missile tubes. I'm not sure if this is missiles or if this is torpedoes, to be honest with you. It's very... I know we've gone through the stats of the ship before in previous streams where we've talked about like the armaments. But the interesting thing about this ship is there are so many different types of missiles on it. It's very hard to like work out which missiles which. Obviously you've got the 32 vertical launchers at the front here. And then you've got the anti-ship missiles here. So whether these are missiles or if these are torpedoes, I'm not quite sure. Like these could be anti-sub warfare, which is possible. But I know we've also already done that in the front here. I'll get it up in a minute. If you're just tuning in though, welcome to the stream. It's great to have you here on Saturday evening. try. We'll do the upper parts now. I do apologise, we are having an attack from a bug. Please give me a moment while I work out where that has come from. I don't know where that's come from. Very sorry about that. I am now back. I just had a few issues there. We get quite a lot of big bitey insects occasionally. We've got to get rid of them. Allergic to them quite badly, unfortunately. Where it came from, I don't know. Thank you. Yeah, not coming off. That one did not want to come off. That's really bad. Oh, I've tipped it up and everything. It's all gone wrong. That bug's coming and distracted everything. Still curious as to how that's managed to get in. We have like mesh over all of our windows and vents, so how that's managed to crawl its way in, I don't really know. Right, while these two parts are drying, we can now make the stand. No, that's not Oh, I've got a really, really clean cut on that. Not so much on the other side. Still going to require a bit of sound anyway. I need to take off some excess with the scalpel here. And there we are. And then we're just going to scrape that away. Just give me 1 moment. Yeah. No. I don't know. I can now. But only on my phone. Zilin Huang 5555, thank you for your comment. I'm very, very sorry. I didn't have the page actually scrolled down enough to see it. And now I do. So welcome to the stream. It's great to have you along. Right, we're gonna try and glue this all together now. We'll see if this is gonna work. What we'll do is we're gonna slide this under like this. He says. Oh, I can see why they want you to do this before. Yeah, before you put the bottom piece on, because it's actually really, really difficult to maneuver into place. I just need to add a bit more glue. I'll wipe most of it off with my finger. I do feel like some of these parts are way too fiddly. Like, they did not need to make it this complex for some of these parts. This one has not gone well at all. In fact, I'd even argue this one is way worse than the other one. I might actually have to vertically glue it like this and hope for the best. It's not the best way of doing it, to be honest with you. Especially as the poly cement will melt the detail away. But I don't really have much choice. This is just a little bit out of my skill remit. You know, this is the first model that we've ever built. I know it's just on stream as the first model, but it is actually the first model I've ever built. The one we're building for the PC is huge. Like, it's nowhere near as fiddly as it. The detail is massive. That's why we're in scale 1 to 100 instead of 1 to 350. I'm actually going to put that away over there and hope that it dries straight and try not to touch it too much. We've finally finished step 10 and we're halfway through the document. So we're actually going to switch it over. And this is where we need to start gluing stuff on. Not all of this detail can be glued on, because I haven't done some of it, because it's just a little bit too fiddly and I just do not have the skills to put it on. I'm hoping that it'll be alright. But yeah, I mean, I really don't have the ability to fold some of these photo edged parts into a circle like it's asking here. If we go back, you can see here that what we need to do is photo edge these into like a little cradle, which means you have to bend it perfectly and then glue this on. We can absolutely glue E18 on, and I think that's what we're going to do, a bit of a shortcut. I mean, you saw how much we struggled just doing E17. Oh, I've just wobbled the camera, I do apologise. And that was with this, and we had to like get that straight, and it was so difficult. You also saw how much we struggled with the gun turrets. It was so difficult. I just don't have that level of skill yet. This is my first ever model builder. I also don't even know how to glue these because I don't think I'm supposed to use Tamiya poly cement for this one. But we'll see what we can do. I've got to get this straight somehow. Yeah, I think that's perfect actually. I think that is perfect. Just do a dab of glue on each of the corners and hope that this actually glues it together. We might also try and put a bit at the back here. This one's actually not the best angle to do it from. But if I can try and get a little bit down the back on the slope, that might actually keep it glued without it falling off. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I think we're going to struggle otherwise because the photo etched parts aren't plastic, they're made of metal, and the poly cement is designed to like melt and fuse plastic together, and I don't know how it works with the photo etched parts. I ended up having to glue the back bit of the main ship here using a bit of super glue, Bondtech, which actually I've been using on my warship model for my PC. If you're just tuning in though, welcome to the stream. Don't be put off that this is part 5. We're just here for a relaxed time to enjoy our Saturday evenings with a little bit of music and a little bit of model building in the background. If you've had a stressful week, hopefully you can find some solitude. Again, it may be part 5, but we're learning more and more every single time. And to be honest, we haven't really gotten very far. A lot of this is very, very finicky and very, very difficult. That should be in line, and it should also be in line on the other side. No, it's ever so slightly off. Let me just try and straighten that out. It's fine at the front. It's just not good at the back, and I can't actually move it because the plastic at the back is fused and nothing else is. It'll be alright. It's no, it's not going to be alright. It's ever so slightly So these chutes are designed to like push the fire from the back exhaust of the missiles off the ship so they don't burn the ship or kill anyone. So those are those parts. Now we've got to get all of these little bits. We're going to try and put these in flat and hope for the best. Obviously we want the detail, but I don't know if we're going to be able to actually, you know, get this on. We certainly can't do it with the photo etch parts, unfortunately. I just do not have that skill. The people who build these and are actually really good at it, I am honestly so impressed. Look at 4 of these on. What I'm thinking is literally, I can see where they need to be. I'm just going to bring this closer so my head is in it. Just going to put a trail of glue and just kind of drop them on and hope for the best. To the ball kind of shape on it, I don't know if I'm going to actually get this to work properly. Obviously, to get it work properly, you want to use the photo etch parts of it. We could just kind of cheat this, to be honest. This is a lot harder than it looks. I think we're going to forego these parts. I just don't have the skill yet to put it on, and if we just put it in our pot of madness, at some point we will be able to do it, and then we can do it then. We definitely need the photo etch parts to get it to stay, unfortunately. But this thing, like, I don't know how to actually glue these on. I've been using poly cement and it hasn't worked. So if you have any suggestions, please put it in the comments. That'd be greatly appreciated. We need E34 and E42 on. Oh, we can get that done. E42, here we go. Just the part we need. Gonna try and scrape that with my finger, I think. Sorry, with the scalpel on my finger. Right, where does this one need to go? Okay, and E42 is at the front. Okay, well I can do that. There's one. And we're going to get E32 on there as well. My rings managed to get stuck onto it. Oh no. There. E32, E32, E32. There. Oh, that is tiny. How am I supposed to even see that? That is insane. Some of these parts. Oh, it's E34. Good job I noticed. I mean, that's not much bigger, to be honest. Right, E34 and E42. One of those details, you can effectively not even see it, but we're putting it on anyway. You know, we're putting it on anyway. But can we really see it? No. And we'll go to the next one, which is E42 again. This one here. Perfect. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, it's fantastic to have you along. Especially on this Saturday evening. I hope you've had a good Saturday. A nice relaxing day after a busy week of work. Just keeping it nice and chill. Rotate that around. And dabble of glue. With that one, and then we've got to get the really small part E34, which is just here. Just as an idea of how small this is, and I've got quite big hands, but even then you can barely see that. That's the first one done. Obviously we haven't put in the little balls yet, the buoys. I don't know how to do that, so we're going to skip this part for now, but we will try and come back to it. It's just that I don't have the skill for that. Right, now we need E46. Interesting part. Now we're gonna work out which way this goes. I think it goes this way. And it's quite a simple part-ish to glue in. There's a nice little hole here waiting for us. Put a little bit of glue in there. Not too much, but also not too little. Do like a top angle and then jam it in. Again, the double tweezers from Display in that collection box really makes that box such good value and so helpful. I wouldn't have been able to get through half of this if I didn't have two tweezers. It really has been a huge game changer. E46, right, we've done it on this one. But yeah, I'm really liking this collection. I'm really enjoying this build as well. It's very fiddly, very difficult, but it is a really fun build. I just know that it's going to look fantastic on this build. But yeah, if you're just tuning in though, it's fantastic to have you all on, and we're really hoping that you're enjoying this. Get a very small double glue in the front arm. Only a small double, and only in the front hole, not in the back. I just realised my phone's gone really quiet, so I'm just going to lower it down and try and angle it a bit towards me. That way. And I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. Should be dry, so we can now go on to the next bit. Which actually the little bit in front, which is E1. Get some softer music, different type of music. We're currently using Epidemic. We're gonna see how that goes. Should be copyright free. If not, then this video will get taken down. Right. Let's find E1. Right at the very beginning. I'm really sorry, my mic is so quiet and I don't even know why. I'm talking directly into it. It's just not picking any sound up. Oh, bit of a drop there. It's picking everything up except my voice. It's crazy. It's on this one. Using a 1500 grit sandpaper here just to try and get some excess off. I will actually need to go back to the scalpel, I think, just to get. There's a bit too much on there that the sandpaper's sanding stick's not going to quite be able to get off. There. That nearly went flying, I can tell you. Pop a bit of glue in there. Going from above. And into the hole, it's a goal. Perfect. Next steps. Now we need E32. Only one E32. Where's that going? What's going on here? Yeah, there's only one E32, so which is going to be the lucky screw? Well, this has got one. So I presume this one also has one. So I'm assuming there's one later on somewhere. I don't know how I'm going to get this off without it flying. Yeah, I've actually caught it though. Just turn the gain up ever so slightly more, just so it's a little bit more focal. But obviously the highlight is of course the music. So let's get this part back. It's such a small part, you can barely even see it. Even the AI camera can't quite catch it. Gently drop this. Nice, that's just it. Cool, right, the next part is E31. Lucky number E31. I'm just gonna gently snip right there. We've actually managed to catch this one this time. I like these parts because they're quite easy to deal with, because there's a little knob at the bottom that just pops into the hole, and they're generally attached from that knob as well at a smaller percentage, so they generally just cut off quite cleanly. You don't need to sand them. Is this in front or in the back? It's in front. Cool. And turn the thing around, and then this one should go in here quite nicely, like that. Perfect. And then we've got to get the one from the other screw. And a lucky number, E31 again. But if you're just tuning in, it's fantastic to have you along. Welcome to the stream, where we are building warships. We're going to build up a whole fleet. But this is still the first one. It's just taken me a very long time. This is my first ever model warship built. Or at least model warship kit, because if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see the massive scale 1:100 warship gaming PC. But that is actually my second warship gaming PC. The first one I didn't make a video of. I will do at some point, just to show, you know, where we started at and where we've moved to. But for now, it's not on a video anyway. But the first PC build model that I built, so I custom 3D modeled and 3D printed HMS Illustrious, but the 1942 edition as an aircraft carrier. Very good surface history, very, very important British aircraft carrier. And the one we're building now is a Type 55 Renhai Chinese destroyer. Looks fantastic. If you do want more like warship content, absolutely go check it out. It's a fantastic build, if that's what you're into. Again, you don't have to be a PC gamer to appreciate the scale of the things. 1:100, it's 6 foot long. 6 foot long model. It's insane. Go check it out. But for now, let's just relax. Build some models together. Or chill out to the music. Just sanding this down just to make it nice and neat and nice and smooth. We will actually go up the grids here just to make it nice and smooth all the way around. We're at 1500 at the moment. I'm just trying to get off some of the bigger, rougher parts. I want to move up to a 3000 now. Again, what we're just going to do is just rolling it over those little bits where it's a bit on the sprue, make it nice and smooth. Baby smooth, hopefully. We will continue going up as well. We've got a 3600 here and we can go up to a 4000. Don't think I have anything higher. Oh no, I can see a 5000. Cool. Because this is a domed piece, it really does need to be super, super smooth. That is actually looking quite smooth. Don't know if you're able to see this on the camera very well. There's obviously a little bubble that sticks out, but that bubble is just part of the design. I believe this is some sort of radar dish. So we're just going to glue this on. There are two little hooks that this hooks onto. Again, trying to use very minimal glue, to be honest. Okay, that's not sitting flush. Why is that not sitting flush? just going to dig out some of the crevice a little bit more, make it a little bit deeper. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm just going to add some more glue now because the other stuff's dried. That's okay. Not quite sure why it wasn't going down the first time. That's better, much better. And we're just going to do a little bit of glue around the front. There's an ever so slight gap. We can use our modelling putty to fill that gap if we want to. And I think we probably will. We will also go around that and sand it a little bit. Right, we've done those bits. Oh, D20. We've got to roll a D20 if you're watching this stream. If you score anything above a 10, then subscribe. And if you roll below a 10, then give it a like. D20 right here. That's good. Cool. It's just crazy how many such like super small parts and little rods and stuff that we've got to be so careful we don't accidentally snap them. We've done E32, this tiny little bobble there, which doesn't even deserve to be called a bobble, and we've got to get equal to E47 is in this little bit here. I say little bit, it's actually the biggest part on this board, I think, or on this sprue. We're going to use a 400 here, just because it's a bit rough on the edge. We just want to smooth it down as much as we can. Yeah, that's quite nice. Cool, and that's going to go on this side. Unfortunately, we have actually filled quite a lot of this up with the putty to try and fill out the gap. We've actually ended up filling the gap. I think we shouldn't have done. We should pretty much smooth it. If not, we'll get the scalpel involved and come over that. Nah, this fits in perfectly. There we are. And now we need to do the other one, which also looks like it's had a bit of filling in, but I think it's going to be alright. So we're going to fold up with that screw. This was E47. Oh, that was a clean cut as well. So clean. Let me know if you want it a bit zoomed in. The camera has the ability to zoom if you guys want to see a little bit up close. Perfect. We've done those bits. We've done. Oh, now it's this time. Let's use this one. This desperately needs a bit of sanding. Huge bit of sanding. Don't necessarily want to use a 400 though. I think that's a little bit too rough and tumble. But a good 1500 would do perfectly. Cool. I'm just going to gently go around the side of that. I think actually this might be a little bit too much. I think it is a little bit too much, but it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Just give me 1 moment, please. No, that should be a little bit better now. The microphone. One second. Yeah, that's way better. The microphone's actually pointing towards me now, rather than pointing at the desk. I think it's quite sound good in my earphones though. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's way better. Cool. Right, let's get this part in. Yeah, mine should be better with a bit of sandpaper here. Where does it go? There's no way this bit is going to fit on. No, unfortunately, actually, there's actually quite a bit of errors on this part that we are going to have to sand out quite roughly. We actually have some really, really good music now. Right, and then D29 as well. Okay. A lot of the parts we've been doing over the last couple of days has been using E and D sprue, which is quite nice. D29, is this D? No, this is D, I'm pretty sure. No, that is D. Oh, it's up here, yeah, I see it. Add a tiny incy little bit of glue, definitely not too much for this piece. Perfect, loving that. That's looking really, really good. That's stage 11 done. Now we can move on to stage 12. So what we're actually going to do here, I don't know how I'm going to do this cleanly. I think we're actually probably going to have to do it based on this bit. We're going to add a small amount of putty here. I don't know where my putty brush is, so I'm actually going to just have to use this. I think I put too much on here. I think that was a little bit way too much. Way too much on here. Okay, well the next one we'll put on a little bit less. That's better, that's better, that's better. And what we can do is if we occasionally just keep giving it a wiggle, it will glue on while also being able to move with a little bit of budge. Yeah, that should be perfect. It's basically the same as what we've done on the gun, which still moves, by the way. If I just show you here. You know, you can see it still moves, but it doesn't also come out. Doesn't do a full 180, obviously, or 360. But it moves enough to add a bit of dynamic to the build. Oh, now we get to put on our fantastic little bits that we did earlier that didn't go the best. I'm assuming these are just like anti-air missiles, maybe like an LAWS or CIWS or something similar. I'd be very surprised if it was, but I'm not 100% sure myself. And obviously being Chinese, a Chinese warship, it's going to be quite difficult finding some of that data, because for obvious reasons they want to keep their warships a little bit secret. Same as every country. Again, the fact that we can even build models of these, of any ship, is really, really spectacular. Because, you know, a lot of these warships are going to be highly classified. So the detail, the level of detail on some of these ships, accordingly, is really, really good. Of modern warships, that is. Obviously World War II warships no longer classified, because they've all been sunk. Where does this one go? Okay, this one goes in. Now, in fairness, there are actually quite a lot of World War II warships still around, especially in the US. There are quite a few still available to see. There's one in the UK, HMS Belfast, which is in London. And actually China has quite a few World War II ships. The Anshan and the Lushan, I think it is, in Qingdao, in Beijing. Well, they also have some World War II submarines, I think, as well. Obviously, the Chinese World War II ships are a mixture of American ships, I believe, that were handed over to help China defend their homeland, and also some ex-Soviet ships as well. Some of them were given, I believe, after World War II, but I think the two on display were actual World War II ships that saw battle. So there's an interesting little fact for you. But when it comes to the US, they've got quite a lot of their like big Iowa class battleships. I think they're Iowa class. They've got quite a few. If you play World of Warships, they recently did a stream, I think, where they highlighted where a lot of World War II ships are currently being held. And if you've watched that, you'd know. It's still available, I think, on their channel. So what we're doing here is there's a bit of like dodgy gluing on my part and a little bit of excess plastic that we're just gently cutting off at the top here. And obviously giving a little bit of a sand because it needs to smooth it out. But not all of them are. My scalpel skills are quite good. Could have maybe been a doctor in another life. What we are going to do is just go in on these and a little bit underneath just to secure them. Like that. A little more. Yeah, no, this one's going to take a bit more than a bit of a scalpel. You're just tuning in now. Welcome to the stream. Beautiful. Add a bit of glue. And we've nearly finished part 12. We do have some photo etched parts though, so I need to work out how to glue them. These, I actually do not understand the instructions here. I see, we have actually made a bit of a blunder. We have a part here and a part here. I have to bring this up. So we have two parts here. One here, you can see this bit here. So this is unfortunately been glued into the wrong place. I've actually managed to unglue it, which is quite lucky. And we'll quickly try and glue that back. I'm very lucky that the glue takes forever to dry. If we add a little dab of glue behind it, that should secure it. I've got to do the same with this one, and I think this one's going to be yeah, oh, perfect. I think we've got very, very lucky here. Measure twice, cut once. can add a little bit more glue to the front actually. First little pass, kind of missed. Right, now we have to glue these on. So yeah, so we're gonna have to glue that. I think we're actually gonna have to cut it out with the scalpel. Glue across that bit. Pick this up. I'm just going to gently lower this into the gap here. Gently push down. Okay, it might be a little bit more than a gentle push down. I think we'll rotate it and guide it from the right side. I do believe that this was the photo etch part that we weren't able to actually do. There, that's perfect. We're just gonna double glue all around the sides of this to ensure that it stays. Obviously it doesn't help that the part that's we put a part in the wrong place basically. We have already sanded and cut these, so no need to do that again. Yeah, that one went in a lot easier. We'll glue from all sides again. And you can see the little tip we did with this allows this to still move without it falling out. And I hope that one almost fell out now. Just need to let that dry a little bit more, but we keep wiggling them and then we should be allowed to move them while them also being glued in the right place. So that's going to be quite good. Cool. Now we have some photo etched parts to deal with. I really hate photo etched parts. I really do. They're so hard to deal with. I've got to put on a ladder. How do I put on a ladder? I don't know. Especially as the poly cement doesn't work. So I'm gonna have to use super glue then. I don't even know where that's going. Well, it's literally going over the ladder that's already there. This may have gone badly. Well, I don't really understand the point of this, but it's vaguely on. We might actually just leave this bit off, I think. I don't want to give up before I've even begun, but I also have no idea how to put these on. And there is a ladder already on there. We might be able to put this on actually after painting, so we have a gold ladder. I know that sounds like we're giving up, but I do actually think that might be a nice idea. Now it is literally photo etched part, and this is going to be all of its railings. Now I don't want to do the railings yet, because I do feel like the railings are going to get damaged. These are the photo etched parts that I think are actually important, and that's going to be all of these. But to ensure that this goes on well, I think we should make the central tower first, put that on here and here. Without it, I think we're going to struggle a bit. That's just my personal opinion. Plus the central tower also adds a bit of something different. Add a new paddle. Yeah, we've got this lovely build so far, which sits very nicely on top of here. As you can see, we're now starting to get quite a good looking warship. Where it's actually starting to look like a warship. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to skip to the next bit, and we're going to start making the radar arrays. Now again, there are a lot of photo etch parts here that I think are going to require, are likely to require something important. I think we are going to need these. This is going to be borderline impossible. I've got to bend parts again to create a bracket. No, we don't. We can just glue, or if we want it to look more realistic, we can photo etch it. I think we're just going to go basic. Yeah, I think we're going to go basic. But what I might try and do is photo etch the part onto the plastic. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but I don't have the skills to do photo etched parts. I just don't know how to glue them. And I think that's going to be the best strategy. It's still going to look good. It's going to look really impressive without it looking bad, without it, you know, having issues. And we will have issues. Trying to bend brackets in. Yeah, you saw how well that went for the guns. It didn't go well at all. Perfect. Well, it's actually gone really smoothly so far. He says. I think that's supposed to clip in there, like Starlink. So that should go in quite nicely. Add a bit of glue there, not too much, but enough to hopefully get this to settle. what we're going to do is just try and apply some pressure here with the tweezers, and then just try and straighten this thing out. The tweezers will apply a lot better pressure than what my fingers were going to be capable of in terms of getting it in the right direction. There, that's basically perfect. I'm happy with that. Just need to straighten this one up. And we're going to do basically the same for this one. We're going to add a bit of glue. And we're going to add a very small dab onto the back of here. Let's widen these out a little bit. Perfect. I tell you what's about to really upset me. They're different sizes. They are actual different sizes. I think that is the most upsetting thing I have ever seen in my life. I know that's probably how it was supposed to be built, but it does upset me. We're just going to go into the top here. So that was very, very noisy. I do apologise. So I'm on a slight delay on the sound. Right, we'll angle it and we'll make it straight. Perfect. We're actually going to set this aside on the white plate over here. Keep it out of the way. Let it dry, let it, you know, piece together perfectly. The next bit, D24. Again, we're still working with the D's and we're still working with the E's, but I do see a C coming up soon, so very excited for that. D24 is this piece here. So we're going to get our undisplay nippers out. And we're going to go in here. Oh, that was almost a clean cut. We're going to get a 1500 out. I know that's a 3000, that's not a 1500. 1500's here. I'm just going to gently take some of the excess off. Round it out again, back to the circles. We want to make sure these are really nice and smooth. Okay. Happy with that? That's smooth. Now we need D23. D23. This bit here. Back to the nippers, and we'll just go a very nice clean. Boom. If you are looking into getting modeling, or you're already in there, I would really highly recommend these. They are so good. Absolutely fantastic. You know, they cut through everything so well, and they always leave a good clean cut. I'm just trying to get this in nicely. There we go. We're going to let that dry in the wet pot over to the side. I don't know if that's actually being picked up on the stream. No, not really. It's this white ball here. Let that dry before we then put on the flashlight. But while we're doing that, we can do E43 and E44, and we need to make 2 of these. So we're back onto these ones. I'm very sorry, that's very noisy. There's E43, and there is E44, the tiniest piece ever. Again, there's some really fiddly parts here. I think the next build needs to be a 1 to 200. If it are, it's gonna have to be like a Yamato or something. Can't actually get this tiny little bit of plastic that's actually excess. Doesn't help the light is only on one side and it's kind of blocking out, shadowing itself out. Oh no, perfect, nailed it. And E44 has just got to be, you know, blocked up on top. So we'll just do that now. That's on one side. We'll glue down the other side. There is actually a very quick bit I do need to cut off from this. Where's the other ones there? And we're just going to gently pop that on. Perfect. I'm going to make another one of these. Let me know if you want the camera zoomed in slightly to see some of these more fiddly parts. In fact, let's do that. Let's do that. We have that ability. Let's use it. While I'm waiting for the software to load, just gonna have a quick drink. I know it doesn't look very small, maybe in the stream, but this part is tiny. What I'm just doing here is just adding a bit of excess glue just onto the seam there. We're just going to move this slightly out of the way. To the next one. You can just see, like, my finger compared to that. I do have chunky fingers, don't get me wrong, but that is tiny. Right, let's get the next one out. We need E43. Right, we've done this sprue, we need to go to the other one. And this one, there. And now I've got to actually make sure that we're in shot. Because we're a little bit zoomed in, so the camera's at a slightly different angle. as long as you're beneath this, then you guys can see it. I do feel like some of these parts feel a lot like doing surgery. Obviously it's not quite as life and death. It's nowhere near as important, but they are really, really small. And I imagine this is exactly what surgery would be like. You know, you've got like a really, really tight corner. You can't quite see what you're doing. You're using a scalpel, probably a pair of tweezers. Although I don't think you'd be holding the tweezers, surely. Perfect. That's almost perfectly smooth. Once again, we are going to glue up and down the edges like we did last time. We're going to grab this part. Sorry, that was quite noisy again. We actually do need another cut here. Just like that. Gently slide that in. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. I've actually done a little bit too much glue. It has actually leaked over, so I'm just going to put this in the plastic pot so it doesn't stick to my back. Again, we're going to have to let that dry before we do anything more. But now we need to cut out E40. And we need 2 of these. E40 is here, as rather unfortunately. I don't know if you guys can see, it is this part here. Get the tweezers out. You have 1, 2, and 3 different attachments for this one, which is going to make it very hard to get quite a clean cut, but we're obviously going to do our best. Wow, the camera is going to be zoomed out a little bit, I think, because we're a little bit too close. I'm not sure how I feel about this tune. It's very heavy on the drones. Not the cleanest of cuts at all, unfortunately. Yeah, not the cleanest of cuts at all. I need to get some softer pads on here, I do apologise. 1500 should send. No, I think we're going to need a 400 for this one. So we're in a 400 grit here to try and take off all the extra plastic. Perfect, and we're just going to go to a 1500 just to smooth that out, but just that little bit extra. Perfect. We're going to do the other side now. This might take it a little bit longer, this one's quite a lot chunkier. We might actually even go back at it with the nipper. Yeah, just gently shaved off quite a bit there. That's going to make it much easier. gently back onto the 1500 just to smooth that out. I could go one further, like a 3000 or something, but I don't think we really need it. Right, now we just got to do the top. The top's not bad, but I'm still going to go at it with a 400 just to get some excess off. Oh dear. I'm going to apologise in advance, but that has disappeared. I don't even know where to begin looking for that one. That has flown by. I thought it landed on the desk, but I can't see it anywhere. Disaster has struck. That is not good. I think we'll leave that part clearly, because I don't know where that's gone. That's fine. I will look for it at some point during the week and try to find it. It's probably going to be in the carpet somewhere, which means it should be quite easy to find, but it is carpet. And if it's on the desk, we'll find out when I clean up after stream, and we can attach that next time, but we I guess we're moving on. I don't know how you prevent that from happening, to be honest with you. Like, the tweezers were gripping it. I think I just might have gripped it a little bit too hard and went ping and then pinged off, unfortunately. Completely lost my train of thought there. E38, E39, these little bits here. But yeah, if you've got any tips for me, that would be much appreciated. Satisfying sound as it bounced around the room though. But yeah, if I find it, I will glue it on, ready for the next stream. Or I'll save it for the next stream and we'll glue it on together. We need to glue these together. I hate these parts because you need to glue them together, right? But there's no actual attach points inside of them to glue them together. So the question is, how do you get a nice clean glue? You can't. Yeah, I know when I'm building my like Warhammer back in the day, when I used to build that, there used to be like little attach points that would glue together and be easy, but for these, that is not the case. Just trying to make that shaped as possible. That's going to have to go into the white pot, and we're going to have to deal with that next time because that's going to need drying, and then we're going to need to sand it out a little bit. Right, we'll get these nice and lined up again, just like the other part. But again, this will have to dry properly. So we can then sand it down. Right, we'll put that in the little white pot. Quite a lot of parts in the white pot today. Just clean off the tweezers. Now we need to go back to the D sprue to do D13 and D12. So if you have a D12, make sure you roll it. If you get a 6 or above, you have to subscribe. And if you get a 6 or below a 6, then you need to give the video a like. Or if you're feeling generous, do both. Now if you rolled a D20 earlier, when we have D20, I don't know. I don't know. But if you are just tuning in, then make sure you roll. I guess if you roll a natural one, then you have to leave a comment, right? This should go quite well together, because these ones actually have the little bubbles. I don't know why the little bubbles aren't on here, but what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little bit on the inside here of the seam. And again, we're going to put that in the white pot, so we need that to dry, so we can then touch on the next bit. Right, now we've got to do the next important bit, and this bit is going to be the fun bit, because we're getting to the main tower. I believe this is C. Yeah, this is C. We haven't got this far yet. It's the first time. It's very exciting. Oh, whoa, look at this. This is so delicate. We're going to have to be insanely careful with that. I know what I'm like. That's going to be broken. In fact, let's immediately put this back. Right, but let's get to the point at hand, which is C1, which is this one. Right, now what we're going to do is we're just going to try and take some of this off without taking off too much of the plastic. Again, I could sand it, but I don't want it to leave it too bare. I think we are actually going to have to sand this one. Definitely going to have to sand this one. So we're going to start off with a 1500. Again, we don't want to go too hard on this. Might even actually go a bit higher on just this little bit here. That is not a pleasant sound at all, I do apologise. And then I'm actually going to go up to a 3000 just to really smooth that out. Really smooth that out. There's actually a little bit of rough in the inside, so I'm just going to very gently take a little bit off there and a little bit off. Yeah, perfect. This bit goes on here. Let's make sure that actually fits on. Yep, that fits on perfect. Now we actually need to drill a hole. I believe I have a Mobius drill. So I got way too close to the mic there. I just need to move my screen out of the way. I've got a little screen for the chat. Bring out the display box. Nope, that's another scalpel. Yes, unfortunately, what I thought I had was the different box. I forgot that they had another box that included the Mobius drill, so maybe I should have bought both. Either way, I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to drill these holes because there's no pilot hole. How or why they've got some holes and not others is very upsetting. I can think of a way to get around that. Yeah, I can think of a way around that. I can think of that. Right, let's glue this on. Yep. Well, let's start off with this side piece here. I know a way to get around that. It's probably not the best idea. I'm willing and accepting of anyone else's opinions. But my idea is the piece that needs to go on top of there, just cutting off the little balls. And then we'll just blind glue it and hope that it's in the right place, which is still going to be better than blind drilling holes, really. Is there anything else that needs to go on this side? Yeah, E10. E10. So we'll get our E10. E10 is here. Yeah, with these disc nippers, we can get a really clean cut. And I reckon we could probably get quite a, if we really focus, we can get quite a good cut on that part. Then we should be able to get it onto there without needing to drill holes. Going to smooth this out because it's a little bit rough. Go up to 3000 now to smooth that out. But if you're just tuning in, welcome to the stream. It's lovely to have you here. This part is going to be impossible to glue, by the way. Impossible. It's got the smallest contact point I've ever seen. It's going to be so top heavy as well. I'm just trying to work out how it even glues on. I think it's actually supposed to sit above. I think we just add a bunch of glue and just hope for the best. But how this is supposed to be at a 90-degree angle? I'll try and show you guys what I'm doing here. We've actually done a very, very good job of that, even if I do say so myself. You can see we've actually done a very good job that has actually been done as well as it has. Took my time and patiently did it. We can now also get C4 out, which is this very special piece. We're going to have to be so careful not to break this. These tiny little things on the edge. I just realised the camera zoomed in. There we go. I've got to be so careful. Right, now we've also got to get B6 out, and I don't actually know where my B screw is. So I don't think we've come across that. So please give me a moment. I found it. We haven't actually come across it before. B6, here we go. There's one. There's two. And there's three. Not the cleanest of cuts, I don't think. We could have probably done a better thing. Now we need to glue this into here, which actually should be quite easy. What we're just going to do is we're just going to go around the loop here. Like so. Perfect. And we're going to put this on the drying table. I think we're going to stop it there for today. We have been streaming for about 2.5 hours. So let's see what we've accomplished. This is looking at so much more detailed. We still have, I've just ripped that out. Oopsie, I need to sort that out. But this one should still move. Okay, I think we're just going to have to glue these in actually. Didn't want to glue them. The idea was to make these move, but it hasn't worked. So we are just going to have to put them in one place. Lead them slightly forward, I think. Well, we have actually done quite a lot. We've added loads of detail onto the front here. We've added quite a detail on the back. We've built these few things here. We've also put the chutes on the back. We have started work on the main tower. These two bits here, but these bits need to dry before we do anything further with that. On top of that, in our magical tray, you can see that we've done the radar dishes. We've made this main tower and a few other bits and pieces. So we've actually done quite a lot today. In 2.5 hours, I think we've progressed more than we have in previous streams. The more I do this, the better I'm get at doing it. And that's, you know, that's exactly where we want to be at, isn't it? You know, that's going to look really, really good there. We'll put that in the drying pod as well. So we're going to put this here, keep it safe. And we'll put the sprues that are left to be used here. If you've enjoyed this video, or if you've been watching it live, give it a like, give it a subscribe. You know, there will be more of these. I try to do them quite regularly, but due to the heat, my computer breaking, you know, haven't been able to do them as much as I would have wanted to. But it will be more regular from now on. So if you did enjoy, you know, we look forward to seeing you back. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. That's goodbye from Lunar.